All right, welcome back. Today we're jumping straight into a deep dive, really focused on unlocking that potential we all know is there.
Yeah, and crushing those goals that actually, matter.
Exactly. We're working from some really potent source material today. It's from a motivational podcast, very high energy, all about taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Our job here is basically to pull out the key insights, the actionable stuff, so you can, well, use it.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting about this source is how it starts. No gentle intro, it just asks straight up.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you really pushed yourself, like really stepped outside your comfort zone?
Oof, yeah. Hits you right away.
It really does. And it sets the stage perfectly. It makes the point that growth doesn't happen when things are easy. It happens when you face that resistance, maybe that fear, a bit of doubt.
That friction.
Exactly, that friction.
Yeah.
So unlocking potential is not passive.
Right.
It needs deliberate effort, intentional choices.
It's that kind of wake-up call, isn't it? The source is clear. If you want more, staying comfortable isn't the answer.
Not at all.
And it gives us a roadmap, lays out three pretty powerful strategies, power moves, it calls them, for breaking through. Should we get into the first one?
The first is called Embrace the Grind.
The grind. Okay.
And what's key here, I think, is how it focuses on discipline over motivation. Motivation's great, that initial spark.
Yeah, gets you started.
Gets you started, exactly. But it fades, doesn't it? Discipline is more like the engine. It keeps you going even when you're not feeling particularly inspired.
Like showing up even on the days you don't want to.
Precisely. The source talks about falling in love with the daily grind. Now, that doesn't mean you have to suddenly adore every single tedious task.
Right, yeah. That sounds tough.
Yeah. It's more about appreciating the process, the consistency, recognizing that those small, maybe boring daily actions are what build momentum towards the big goal.
So for someone listening, it might be about finding like one small thing they can do every single day.
Exactly. Something repeatable, maybe something that feels almost too small, but doing it consistently.
Yeah.
That's embracing the grind, is building the habit.
Okay, that makes sense. Not waiting for inspiration, just doing the work. Okay, what's the second power move?
The second one is about how we view setbacks. It's called reframe failure.
Ah, okay. Failure. Always a fun topic.
Well, yeah, but the source offers a really useful perspective shift here. It argues failure isn't, the end of the road. It's actually data.
Data, like feedback.
Exactly. Feedback.
Yeah.
Valuable information. Each time something doesn't work out, it's telling you something, guiding you. The classic example they use is Thomas Edison.
Oh, yeah, the light bulb guy.
Right. He didn't see thousands of failures. He saw, 1,000 ways that it didn't work?
Mm-hmm.
Each failure was a step closer because it ruled something out. It was learning.
So it's about not seeing it as a dead end, but more like a redirection.
Precisely. A course correction. It builds resilience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you see failure as just part of the process, as learning, it's less scary.
It definitely takes the sting out of it. And that question the source kind of implies is powerful. What if this thing that feels like a failure right now is actually the step right before the breakthrough?
Yeah. That changes how you approach the next challenge, doesn't it? You're not defeated. You're just learning.
Okay, I like that. Embrace the grind, reframe failure. What's the third one?
The third is take massive action. And this one's very direct.
Massive action. Sounds intense.
It sounds big, but the core message is actually about starting. It urges you to stop waiting for the perfect time.
Because it never really comes, does it?
The source argues it just doesn't exist. Conditions will rarely be ideal. So instead of waiting for some magical moment to make a huge leap,
you just start now.
You start now, even with small steps. Consistent small actions taken now are way more powerful than planning giant leaps for later. It's about momentum.
Overcoming that inertia, that feeling of, oh, I'll do it when X, Y, and Z are sorted.
Exactly that. There's a great line, dreams don't work unless you do. It's about moving from thinking to doing.
So for the listener, it's like, okay, that thing you've been putting off, what's one tiny, almost laughably small action you could take today?
Yes. Even if it feels messy or you don't have all the answers, just do something.
That really connects to the engagement part of the original source too, right? They challenge listeners to pick a goal and actually declare it.
They did. To comment, I'm unlocking my potential. It was about accountability. We can't replicate the commenting here, obviously, but the principle holds.
Choose one thing.
Choose one thing you've been delaying and take that first, maybe tiny step. That's how you start building real momentum. It makes the goal feel less abstract.
Takes it out of your head and into the real world. Okay, so those are the three power moves. Embrace the grind, reframe failure, take massive action.
Pretty powerful framework.
Definitely. And the source wraps up with this really strong dose of encouragement, doesn't it?
It really does. It reinforces this idea that, you're capable of more than you probably think, that settling for average isn't, well, it doesn't have to be the default setting.
Don't sell yourself short, basically.
Yeah. It's a reminder that often the biggest limitations are the ones we kind of put on ourselves. It's meant to spark that drive, that belief in your own potential for something.
More.
A really positive note to end on.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Think about one area, just one, where you've been holding back a bit, staying in that comfort zone.
Where you've played it safe.
Yeah. Now imagine applying just one of these ideas. Maybe you commit to a tiny daily action embracing the grind. Or perhaps you look back at a past failure and try to see the lesson, the data.
Or maybe you just take that first small imperfect step today. Massive action, but starting small.
Right. How might doing just one of those things actually shift things for you? What new doors might that open up down the line?
Definitely something worth mulling over.